All along it was a feeling. That could be too much. Here he is, look at this cheeky fella. So I traded him. So this is how to use lumetri scopes in Adobe Premiere to improve your color grading. So screen recording. So take one, lumetri scopes. First off, I'll show you the way I use the color grade, and then I'll show in detail how I grade now. First off, I'll show you how I used to grade, then I'll show you in detail how I grade now. And compare so you can see the differences. First off, I'll show you how I used to grade, then I'll show you in detail how I grade now, and I'll compare the differences between the two types. First off, I'll show you how I used to grade, and then I'll show you in detail how I grade now, and I'll do a side-by-side comparison of the two different styles. Firstly, I'll correct footage from my Blackmagic. So we're going to Premiere, and this is footage I shot for a music festival a few years ago on my Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K, my baba. So it's all in Blackmagic's flat color profile, log profile, I guess you call it. So yeah, so like I said, first of all, I'll do the way that I used to grade, and I just used to use the basic correction sliders, and it was completely to taste. So first off, I'd turn up the saturation to about 150. Then the whites, I'd push them to about around 80 or 90. Then the blacks, reduce them to about -10. And then the contrast would be about +10-ish. And then I'd be really aggressive with the curve. This is where I do most of my correction. Just push it really far. Even further. I'd also use the color picker for the white balance. Oh, and then have an argument with it. So that looks like it's gone too green. So it'd be something like that is what I'd traditionally would have done. So that's the original image with the log. That's it with the old style color grade. So now I'm just going to duplicate that track so we have the original. I'm actually going to just put that in the top corner. So this is the new way. So we're going to delete that. So open up your lumetri scopes, and this is the way I have it laid out, the RGB parade. So it might look a bit intimidating at first, but basically this is your exposure from left to right. So this is how the red is exposed from the left of the image to the right of the image, the same with the green, and then the same with the blue. So then we're going to go down to your color wheel. Ooh. Saying what? Wait. So actually, first first of all, boost the saturation to 150 like before, and then we're going to go down to colour wheel and match. So here, you want your highlights to be about 90, your shadows to be about 10, and your midtones to fall between 40 and 60. So we're going to start by boosting the highlights, and that doesn't go as far as we need it to, so go into exposure, beautiful, and then back here to your shadows and pull them down. So not a million miles away. So I'm going to show you how to balance the image first. So now you can see you've got a peak in the blues. So what we can do is pull away from where you are. So now we've got a bit more of a level image. So now I find this kind of counterintuitive, but actually makes sense. So whichever colour is dipping, drag it towards that to boost it, and it'll drag the rest of the waveform down. So here you see you've got a bit more blue. See, the blue is dipping, so that actually means the blue is lacking in the image. So like that. So then go into your curves again. Pull the curves down a bit. It's a lot more of a gentle S on the curves this way. So that's the log profile. This is the grade we've done. And then if we want to actually compare it to how I previously would have graded. See, that's just a bit darker, a bit more contrasty. You can even see even the waveform, there's more information. You can even go over and crop it. Yeah. So we'll zoom into the face. So you can see it's a bit less contrasty, but the colours are still richer. And you've got more information. Whereas before I was just going blind, and occasionally you'd have a situation where you needed to be remove magenta but also still remove the green, so you're kind of stuck in a bit of a countdown conundrum. And this way it just gives you better knowledge, so you can change what you need to. So the complaint my boss was having was that the colours aren't as rich or true to life as they should be, and I was pushing it as much as I could using the basic correction tools, or as best as I knew how. Like I might push the shadows, but then when you push the shadows it goes really milky. You're pushing the contrast, and the more you push this you just start to lose information using these sliders. Whereas using the scopes, you're not losing using the colour wheels, you're not losing you're not losing the details, you're just manipulating the colours and pushing them. So I'll try a different clip. Yeah, try this one. So, like I said, I'll do the traditional way I used to. First of all, and like I said, it was just off the eye. First of all, boost the saturation to 150. Then I go down to the whites, push them up to about there. Then bring the blacks down to -10. And then up the contrast. And then, like I said, it'd be really aggressive with the S curve. Even more. We got white anywhere, so I'm pretty happy with the white balance, but let's see what it gives us. Yeah, it said it's pretty evenly, it's corrected correctly. The colour temperature is correct. I'm pretty happy with that image. So then again, I'm just going to duplicate this text layer so we know which one's which. And then duplicate this layer. And we're going to start again. So we get rid of the old colour. So then saturation up to 150. There are lumetri scopes up here on the left. Then boost the highlights. You can see what that does. It starts to move up here. And then turn the exposure up till we get to about 90. Then the shadows all the way down. I'm actually gonna expose it a bit more. So it's a tiny bit leaning towards the warmer tones. So we can pull away from that. And then we're going to pull down the curve, nice and gentle. So then this is our highlights here. So I want to pull them down to about 60. Let's say it's a bit too blue in the so the midtones we want to pull down to 60. So the midtones are gonna pull them a bit in that direction. So then you can see we're leaning a bit too much into the warm tones. So like I find it counterintuitive because it looks like there's more blue in the shadows, but when we pull it in, it'll boost the blue. So we're actually adding blue into the shadows to cool it down a little bit. Like I said, it's all about just knowing how you can manipulate the image to do what you want it to, rather than having to use these sliders or the picker. It just takes your color grading to the next level, especially if you're trying to achieve a certain look. So I'm pretty happy with that image, and ultimately it is the eye test. So get this to balanced, and then you can be creative with it. And if you've got like really harsh lighting, you might need to change it completely, but at least you'll know how to do so. So then we'll just crop this to have a look. Yeah, you can really see it there, can't you? So like I said, it's not see, it's just richer. So the right hand side of the image is the new grade and the left is the old. See, just makes the colours pop. It's very subtle. It's a bit extra work, but you will get faster as you go. At the start it was quite intimidating, but then when I started editing the old way, at first it was a slow process, but the more you do, the better you get. And it is just about these minor improvements. And again, we're not bombing out at all. So that will probably be in here, because it's a read from left to right. So we're not completely in darkness there. And then we're bang in the middle, probably here will be this section here. So like I said, this just is a way to know how to use your lumetri scopes to improve your colour grade, and then use that in tandem with the colour wheel. So you can manipulate the image and get the most out of your grade. Now I'm going to do a little bonus. I'm going to show you how to apply a lot. I do it on this one. So, new item, adjustment layer. Add this adjustment layer to the track above. And then when we go into colour, input LUT. So here we're going to browse. Where have we got one on my... Okay, so to apply a LUT, we'll go with none for a minute. So to apply a LUT, add an adjustment layer to your timeline above the clip you want to apply the LUT to. Then go into your colour window, go browse, and then I've got an Alice in Wonderland LUT. Looks pretty nice. Open, so that'll apply the LUT, so you can see what it does already. Gives it nice blue tones. Now lock that adjustment layer so you won't accidentally edit the LUT. I've done that before and it's a head scratcher when you start doing that. So boost the saturation as before to 150. Highlights up. Now I pull a little bit towards, but not too much, because then we're just negating what the LUT does. Shadows down. And into our curves. A nice gentle S in the curve. back in. Let's bring our highlights, or our, I keep calling them midtones highlights. Bring the midtones down a little bit. Alright, that blue's really popping. So it's saying there's too much red. Or sorry, there's not enough red. Yeah, it looks pretty fun. So now we'll see what it looks like without the LUT on. You can see. Oh wow, yeah, it just makes it pop. Let's see what the LUT looks like on this. Yeah, see, it just lifts the image. So now you understand how to use. So now you understand how to read your lumetri scopes to help you become a better videographer, editor, grader. And these are just guidelines so you know how to read the information, but ultimately it's the eye test and what you're happy with as your final image. See, even on that it pops better. I think we're done here.